Hey everyone, it's Elise here from Eve's Dog World, and I just wanted to get on here real quick and share something. It's just so like on my heart, and I was like talking out loud, kind of like just talking to myself and just being like affirming and having my whole realization. And I'm like, you know what? Let me record this because somebody out there needs to hear this. If you don't know, I'm in the middle of getting my locks brushed out, so that's why I have this little head wrap on today. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, this morning was a little bit of a doozy, and I would have to say, like, that I would be a delusional, crazy person to really think that I can go all my life without having doozy days. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in such a high vibration, such a high frequency. You would think that I'd never have bad days, but no, it happens, and that's normal. So today was one of those days, but I was able to work myself through it. Like it was great. Woke up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Then some stuff, was very bothering and triggering to me, and it just kind of got thrown at me like, splat. And then I had to literally work myself down from that, talk myself down from that. And one of my main tricks that I got in my bag is gratitude. It will never fail you. So that's what I'm getting on here right now. Just really, pressing on that fact of gratitude. I've been listening to some more inner work tips as my inner work and my container is expanding, and my inner work is just such a fun process. It's such a fun journey. But one of the things that was so prominent that really helped me today personally was, one, paying for peace, and two, understanding what my dominant demeanor is, my dominant, happy level. My dominant behavior is happy, okay? My dominant level of just being is like just blissful and peace, right? And just, when I was actually realizing that this is a real thing, the lady who was talking about it was like, what is your dominant behavior, like your dominant decimal as far as like in a scale from 1 to 10? And she was using the example of people who actually had like some sort of traumatic situation happen to them or whatever, like they had to get an arm or leg amputated from a horrible experience, or like even that shark girl that got was it her leg chopped off or her arm? I don't know. But they'll go through those experiences, and studies show that a year or two later, they're back at their dominant frequency, which you would think that something like that would take you out of the game officially. You'll just be this depressed person for the rest of your life because of this unfortunate situation. But no, they are smiling. They're back at it. Sometimes they go right back to the thing that ended up having that situation happen to them in the first place, because their dominant frequency was always high, versus a person who that happens to, that their dominant frequency is not high. Then a situation like that happens to them, if anything, it gets lower than their already low state of frequency. So that's why, and this is something that could be adjusted as soon as you realize that it's a thing. You can actually work on making your dominant frequency something high, that no matter what happens, okay, from an amputation to somebody getting your order wrong in the drive-thru, your dominant frequency will always round back to its original state. So this is so important for me, because I was like, what is your dominant frequency? I had asked myself that the other day, and I'll have to say it's a strong, I feel like 8.5 is too low. Like, I have to literally own that it's a good 9.5. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is. 10 would be leaving me with no room for growth. So I'm going to say a strong 9.5. Like, it takes a lot for me to get but underneath that. So even when things may happen, right, and unfortunate situations may take place, I'm able to round myself back to a 9.5. And that's so important. That's extremely, extremely important. And, it really helped me today in what was going on. So after I had to talk myself down, and with triggers, this is another point. With triggers, it's like a ripple effect. It's like you're lighting a match, and then it goes like a wildfire. So that's why triggers are so dangerous almost if you don't get a handle on them. But another teaching that I've learned in my inner work process is triggers can be a beautiful thing, because it's a stand to work on. Instead of letting that trigger at that moment, once it's fired, take over. No, you can actually choose the thought process to be like, oh man, this is a trigger. Time for me to work through this, so that way it's no longer a trigger anymore. So I was able to put that practice into play this morning. So not only was I able to use this experience as something to be like, oh wow, this is triggering you, let's work through this. What is your dominant frequency? So once I got back to my dominant frequency after putting certain things into action, and calming myself down and using gratitude, like, girl, remember, we're paying for our peace. So if we have to pay to make this more convenient, and sometimes paying isn't a monetary thing only, okay? It could just be like, you know what, don't worry about it. I'll go ahead and charge it to the game, or I'll go ahead and take care of that, or I'll just, I can just choose another day. You go ahead and take that day. And it's not giving in the sense of like you're getting stepped on and you're getting the short end of the stick. No, sometimes it's literally paying for your peace. Sometimes paying for that checked bag. You know what I'm saying? So that way you don't have to deal with squeezing out all of the shampoos into a certain bottle size and all these things. Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit extra for that bag, but you know it's just going to go right through. You know, if we use that state of mind in every aspect of our life, that's when the level up gets to that next stage. And that's where I'm at. So when I look at these triggers and I look at these things, it's like you're just entering into the next stage. And in order to be able to hold that frequency and to hold that space for that next stage, you got to get over these triggers. You have to be able to handle and keep and be proud of your dominant frequency being a 9.5. So when I got back to my 9.5 this morning, I'm like, wow, it's so amazing how your inner work is so useful in times like this. Because I'm telling you, it got really like dark and gloomy, and today is beautiful, okay? Like, today is a beautiful day outside. So I'm like, it's so beautiful, but I just am upset right now, you know? But when I started being gratitude filled and I walked into work, and you know, I pride myself being that person that walks into work and being like, hey, good morning, you know? And I didn't walk into work until my frequency was better, because I never want to put that onto somebody else. I will always check myself before I expose myself to other people, because I always want to be that light. I always want to be that array of light. So I'm just so thankful for that. So anytime, okay, you have this video in your pocket now, replay it. Understand you're going to have bad days, okay? There are going to be things that are going to happen. Hello, we live on this earth. There's 365 days out of a year. Okay, wow, you're having a bad day. But how are you going to get yourself back to your dominant frequency of, you know, being in a happy state? Because if it's not, you have to have at least one thing you're thankful for, okay? It could be simply that you woke up this morning. Your kids woke up this morning. You have a car to drive. You're upset, but you're in a car being upset. You have a car. Be thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure, if nothing else, your one main standpoint right now is working on what is my dominant frequency. Knowing what your dominant frequency is, so that way moving forward, once you're off of that, you can always be like, oh man, whatever this was that was enough power to get me off of my dominant frequency, let's go ahead and cleanse that through our inner work processes and the things that you can learn to help yourself get back to your frequency. Like, you own your life, okay? You call the shots over here. So with that being said, I'm gonna go and do my doggies, and I have some little projects going on at home that once I finish my work day, I can go back to and continue on to those. But I just wanted you guys to have this in your pocket, okay? I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.